Welcome back to another edition of Sit Down Saturday. As I've said in the past, I'm not always going to be doing these. I'm only going to do them when I have the time to do them and when I have something to say. The good news is, I have an awful lot to say at the moment. An awful lot. Problem is, time is always my enemy. But with the lack of toys coming out, I'm hoping to get into a place where I can do 2 a week. Plus, I think you guys really enjoy them. I really enjoy doing them. They are a pain to do editing-wise, but you don't want to hear about my problem. Let me talk about the t-shirt order real quick. The screens have been ordered. I'm hoping to have them in 2 weeks. That's my goal. Next week, I know nothing can happen, and the week after, I'm hoping for production to be done. We'll see. I'm going to be sending out an email to everyone that pre-ordered. Once they're in stock, I can tell you what I have left. If you're interested, just hit me up. It's not much. But thank you to everyone that pre-ordered. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm humbled and honored. But I had the time to do a video today, so let's do one. Truthfully, I just want to sit and listen to episode 177 over and over and over again. Those that know. But that would be awfully self-indulgent, and I'd prefer to be productive. Today I want to talk about how they're holding up. Meaning, figures that we've spent money on through the years and how those figures are holding up. Do we see a trend? Do we see a pattern? A lot of money goes into this stuff, a lot of investment, a lot of time, effort, and energy. How do those investments hold up? We're gonna look at some good ones, we're gonna look at some bad ones, and we're gonna tease another video that's gonna be coming shortly to a Saturday near you. In order to do this, I might have to go to my sportscaster voice, which is a voice I've never done before, but I might have to do it here. So with that, and what do we have coming out of the ring first, viewers? Oh, it looks like TFC's Defensor coming out looking strong. This is one of the stronger releases from TFC. After a top-heavy Hercules and a weak-tip Superion known as Uranus, they did more splits than a gymnast. This seemed to be a step in the right direction in every release. Was strong and sorted, seemed to go together just fine, and clipped into the feet like a well-fitted seatbelt. But after a few years of doing nothing but standing on my shelf, let's see how he holds up. Not too well, viewers! Just to touch on Toy World and DX9 very briefly, both of these releases hold up extremely well. This one even better. I have to admit that both of these have held up extremely well. And coming out for the second round, we had the KFC Beast Box. Now, even when this figure was released, it wasn't exactly the cat's meow, folks, but the other options have been extremely limited even to today. How does it hold up? Not well. And in recent years, we've seen huge improvements from the KFC X Transbots Collective. An obvious example are some of their headmasters. The materials got better, the hardware got better, and as a result, a lot of it holds up. However, to be fair, I have noticed some joints slowly deteriorating over time. What's going on? What's going on here? What's all that about? I've been known to give Keith a hard time here, but only when it deserves it, and these two pieces do not. In my opinion, they're arguably the best things he's ever done, and both of them still hold up like a champ. This blaster, old, heavy, no flop in those legs whatsoever because of that. Well applied, well placed, hard ratchets. Unfortunately, for every rose, it comes with multiple thorns, meaning that the ratio seems to always be disproportionate. You find one good thing, it's got 10 thorns on it ready to take the blood of your fingers. Arguably the first chink in Takara's armor, MP tracks. With stuff that didn't click together quite right, holes in it, and let us not forget the legend of Sleepy Hollow that dwelled within its chest cavity. The most annoying thing about this to me were the knee joints, which still are problematic. Shake it on baby now, shake it on baby. Although I had significant issues with the combined mode, individually these Stunticons still hold up like a champ. Barely moving at all with a violent shake. Every joint is toleranced arguably perfectly. And now these two units mark something important in time, I'd say, and that is an attempt from a third party at a set of clones, and I wish more would try. This set means a lot to me sentimentally. An individual who I consider a friend in this madness of a community that we call it, gifted me these, and I will always treasure them and hold on to them. I still to this day hold out that they pulled out a lot of tricks of the trade in order to accomplish these, and some of the engineering is extremely interesting and well done. Some of it is also entirely frustrating, however, it can't be denied that it's all unique, original, and a fresh take. That being said, I have to admit that over time, mess. Just Yikers Island. Now, unlike a lot of combiners from its era, Predaking was a breath of fresh air from MMC, also known as Feral Rex. He was beefy, he was strong, he was sturdy, shockingly so at times. But with all that weight came some strain on the hips. Now there were ratchets and it did hold up better than say Uranus, which just needed a coffee mug and headphones removed in order to make it fall apart. But how does it hold up now? Not great. And I'm sure some people will say my Titan class Predaking doesn't do that, but guess what? Even with the hip failure, my MMC Predaking doesn't look like that. Don't be silly. Surprisingly, and to conclude this, I want to end on this. This is one of the earlier third-party pieces from MMC, and one of the early third-party pieces in general. Back in the era when Fans Project dominated the playing field. And guess what? Still holds up like a champ. Tremendously put together figure. Extremely well built. Now I know I said that was the last, but I have one more to talk about. And it's a teaser for a future sit-down Saturday, maybe next weekend if I can get it together. And that is this fella. So sometimes when I'm critical of Hasbro Transformers, people take the time to inform me that they're for children. Let me talk about that for a second. There is a particular type of fan in this fandom that can't wait to inform you about something. My general comment on that is you can probably miss me with that. I know how to use the internet too, and if I cared, I would have looked it up. I can't care about everything. I got stuff to do. But there are people that say that this line is intended for children, and they're right and they're wrong. And I'm not ignorant to Hasbro. I collect passionately Hasbro Marvel Legends and Hasbro Black Series. And let me tell you something. What they've been able to do with those two lines in the past 2 years is nothing short of remarkable. Huge leaps and strides. And I'm optimistic that we might be seeing that with this Siege line. Back to this fella. I bought this because I think it's a pretty good sculpt and likeness of an IDW Bumblebee during the era that I quite enjoy IDW the most. At Skullfest this year, which was in May, my daughter, who is 4 years old and isn't rough on her toys, asked me if she could have this from my shelf because she knew the Skullfest Transformer party was coming and she wanted to be a part of it. And I am old and I am soft and I am trash. So I said, absolutely. And I gave her this from my shelf, from my personal collection, and let her have it because she wanted to be a part of the festivities. So, June, July, August, September. 4 months of limited play. Because I can tell you, there was times where I was like, oh, you wanted it so bad, but I don't ever see you playing with it. This is not built for a child. This couldn't withstand a child's play. A very soft, limited child's play. And we're going to talk about the Generations line, and I'm using the term loosely, but you know what I mean. The main line, the chug-scaled line. Very soon and hopefully in depth. And the problems that I think plague it, and the things that I think are good about it. But more on that later. The reason why I did this video is with the exception of those two pieces that came in one box set that I mentioned specifically that was gifted to me, I bought all this. We're talking about thousands of dollars. I'm no mathematician, but I'm just running the numbers quickly in my head, and I can tell you it's easily over $2,000. That's well over 100 hours of work to accumulate that money. Well over. Once again, I'm not a mathematician. I'm just going off the top of my head. And I can tell you from my paycheck, it's far more than one paycheck. So let's say a paycheck takes course over 2 weeks of a pay period, 80 hours of work, and I still can't pay for everything I showed you today. And look how a lot of it has held up. Now that's a risk we take. It's a gamble. But people often say that I'm too whiny, I'm too critical, and I complain too much. And my argument from this point forward will always be, here's the link, you don't complain enough. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, until next time, take care.